Matteo.
Hi Shane.
Talk to you later. Matteo, later this month at Wentworth, will be defending the 4th title of his young career. But first, he's agreed to report for us on what lies behind the emergence of these child stars.
Take it a little more inside than usual. Nice and wide. I'm doing some work here with the best kids in the region. This is Emily. She's 15. That's 1 year older than Guan Tianliang was when he beat my record at the Masters. So let's start there, in China.
I've had kids come to me around 8, 9 or 10 and then we give them a 3-year program to get them to elite level. Make sure that the club and the pathway is working in that circle. Culture here in China, and I'd probably say across Asia, is a little different. It's a little there's more pressure with the kids, and there's a lot of kids trying for the #1 spot. You know, golf's going through that changing period now here in Asia. Particularly in China, because the coaches have been here for a while now, so they've had time to develop the kids.
David Watson has at least 2 outstanding young players there.
我叫曹生，英文名 Tom， 今年是16岁，然后我8岁就开始打高尔夫球，然后现在打了7年左右了，8、9岁可以算是很晚的了吧。 像光天朗都是4岁开始练的。
His drivers are fantastic. He hits it around 280, 290, even now at 15. So he's hitting it long, and he's competing with most of the top players now in Asia. When you look back and you think of where they are now, you know, I'm quite pleased with what we've achieved with them, but there's still a long way to go, if you know what I mean.
David Watson. But we shouldn't think this is just happening in China, or only in the men's game. Let's have a look at some of the records that have gone recently. First, the 2 we've mentioned. There's the youngest player to make the cut at the Master, broken twice in past 4 years, and the youngest player to play in a European Tour event. There is also the youngest ever to play in the US Open, and in the US Women's Open. And then it's youngest ever winner. The youngest winner of a women's major wasn't too long ago either. The youngest ever winner of a European Tour event has changed hands twice in the last 5 years. At least I still hold that one. And the record for the youngest ever winner on the LPGA has also been broken twice since I turned pro. And to round it off, last year we also had the youngest ever player in the Solheim Cup. We've now come to the Abu Dhabi Golf Club, where some of the most powerful people in golf have come together to look at the future of the game. Quite a few of the record breakers have an Asian background. So let's start with someone who should know better than most.
Well, I think that's to do with the explosion of the interest of golf in the Asian region, and again the explosion really of the middle class in Asia. And so it's, you know, it's in some ways it's a numbers game. In that there are more people getting introduced to the game. There's much better technology, much better coaching, much better information and professionalism around the game, and so you're now seeing this natural talent being able to be nurtured to the extent that they are now coming and breaking through into the world stage.
IMG have agents across the world trying to spot and sign up the most talented young players, from Tiger and Ernie to Lydia Ko and hundreds more. They started talking to me when I was 16, and I signed with them when I turned pro. So what does the big boss think?
I think that amateurs are getting so good, so young, they're working that much harder, they're much more professional in what they're doing, that actually the step into the professional ranks is less daunting.
Are there any ethical issues for a company like yours?
I think there's ethical issues for the whole game, but I think it's really important that those bodies, whether it be the RNA and the USGA and the tours, kind of work together to make sure that you don't have a situation where people who are just not emotionally equipped to go out and do it. You know, we want to be able to see players who don't get burnt out, aren't fed up by the time they're in the 20s or 30s. Arnold Palmer's 84. He's in the top 4 highest earning athletes on the planet.
But what's the view from one of golf's traditional heartlands, the United States? Before Lexi came Michelle Wie, who won again on LPGA last month. Broke all sorts of records as a teenager, working with her coach David Ledbetter. He's coached hundreds across the generations.
Not everybody's ready to play at a young age. I mean, the girls seem to be physically and mentally better. I mean, just what's the young Lydia Ko who we coach? I mean, she's so mature for her age. You wouldn't think she was 17 years of age. A lot of these kids spend less time at school. Their parents are putting a lot of emphasis on them almost from a young age doing this as a career. So they're getting better coaching, they're working out, they've got better fitted equipment. Mentally, they have sports psychologists and so on and so forth. So, and you're seeing this all over the world. It's a changing game, no doubt about it. I mean, in the old days, people used to think, well, golfers used to mature in their 30s, where we're seeing that younger and younger now. I mean, it's a power game, so athleticism plays a role, and the fact that their minds are so much better and they're so much better technically, I mean, it's a trend that's probably going to continue. It looks actually very good.
For me, it's a combination of all this we've heard, but most importantly, the kids and their teams are way more professional. They've got the confidence to believe that they can win, and they do it.